Hi everyone. This is what happened to me when I got government housing part 85. And it was just one thing after another, and more things that I had to get through to get to my compensation hearing. But I wanted to go to court as soon as I could because I believed that I had enough evidence to make a claim for compensation. I imagined going on holiday with my daughter, and I would think about how happy we were when we were in the Gold Coast and how warm it was and how there were characters at the resort to play with and how good it would be to go back there. But we weren't up there yet. And I had to wait so long for my compensation hearing, and I never found out why that was. I think in the end it was actually 21 months that I had to wait, and if you make an inquiry to VOCAT about how long it takes, they say that the application takes about 6 weeks, so I don't know, you know. Anyway, it was nice and sunny on the Gold Coast, but it was violent and horrible in Melbourne. And on the 10th of the 11th, 2017, the demolition of the house opposite my backyard began. I didn't want to see something being smashed up and cut down and demolished, probably because that was what had happened to me over the past few years. You know, in some ways physically, in some ways psychologically. And, you know, and then on top of that, there was my property was suffering demolition as well. It was exhausting knowing that the house was going to be wrecked and all the planks of wood were going to be stripped away and the roof and the walls and everything would be gone. I knew it was an old house, but it seemed like such a waste. So I had that to deal with, but I was still dealing with all of the other stuff too. Like my VCAT hearing that I had to go to, and I was still dealing with other issues that went on at the block. And I went to Officeworks to print out a letter that I needed to send to the Director of Housing, and when I was there, I lost my USB stick. And I didn't realise this till later in the day, so I had to go all the way back there, and I found my USB stick and I went home, and that whole thing would have been avoided if I could afford ink for my printer at home. But I couldn't, because I had been enslaved to defending myself in court against a respondent, and now I was defending myself in VCAT against the Department of Housing, and it seemed that I was burdened with more and more administrative work as the days went on. And it was costing me more and more money. And I had no hope of doing anything that would have helped my life, like going on holiday or enrolling in a course or anything nice like that. All I did was unpaid administrative work because various public servants kept causing problems for me by refusing to believe me and refusing to listen to me and refusing to do their job when they dealt with me. And I'd made a lot of complaints to various government departments, but it never seemed to help. And it occurred to me around that time that asking public servants to help me with problems that I was having with public servants was a bad idea. And I should have come to that conclusion earlier, but I didn't. But I don't think anyone could blame me. when you look at everything that I had to do over the past few years. At that stage, I didn't know that we would all be going into lockdown, but now that we have, and I look back, I can say that's what it was like. If you can imagine the harshest COVID restrictions combined with slave labour and a bastard assaulting you every so often, that's what my life was like.